All right, everybody. All right. Hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Lakeisha McKnight is here. I am your leadership specialist and wealth mentor. I do want to welcome you here to the Leadership TKO live night show. That's right, the live night show. I am extremely excited, really excited to be before each and every one of you on tonight. It truly is an honor and it is a privilege. It's an honor and a privilege to be before each and every one of you tonight. Now, this show goes live every single night around 9 o'clock p.m. on most nights. Tonight, we're here a little early because we have a wealth presentation going on at 9 o'clock p.m. that I do not want to distract from. So, we're just here a little bit early on tonight. Right now, we're live on my timeline. We're also live on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Leadership TKO Station, .com's website. And so we're just extremely excited about what, is going to be happening over the next couple of months and even years, even with this particular company. And so our goal here with Leadership TKO, this night show, and overall this brand really is to empower leaders like yourself with the ability to win from the inside out, growing your influence, your impact, and your income. That is what our focus is. And so we've been really placing emphasis on helping you to grow as a leader, a home-based business owner, an entrepreneur, and helping you to be able to grow a business from the comfort of your home. That has really been the emphasis over the last couple of weeks. Okay. And so what we've been doing lately, we've been just kind of going over some of Rich Dad's scams. He's highlighted, Robert Kiyosaki had a rich dad and a poor dad, and he's highlighted some important concepts that we as people, as entrepreneurs, need to be aware of. And so I'm going to just point out a couple of those scams. And so tonight, for example, we're going to be looking at Rich Dad scam number 5. Now, I might have touched on this particular scam before, but it's really good that we emphasize it even more so tonight. So hopefully you're ready. And listen up, go ahead and love the stream. If you're someone who really likes to focus on building up yourself as a leader, or perhaps you're ready to get on that path to financial freedom, go ahead and love this particular stream. Go ahead and do that. You can also interact in the comment section and share this on your timeline and other places. But here's the deal. Rich Dad scam number 5. That is where we are right now. And I'm just really excited to just kind of share this information with you. I'm going to brighten up my screen just a little bit. Okay. But here's the thing. Here's what he says here on this particular blog post here. He says, stop trying to learn how to save money and start learning how to spend it. I know you may be thinking, well, Lakeisha, what are you talking about? Okay. And this is actually the 5th post in his series that he has called Rich Dad Scams, where he's actually pointing out how the rich use, to keep the poor, right? How the scams the rich use to keep the poor and the middle class poor. All right. So Rich Dad scams were identified. They were identified by Robert Kiyosaki as simply the things that are taught about money that are wrong. And that's what he's been emphasizing here. He says if you save money, you will have money. That's something that used to be commonly thought of. And we may have been shared this information coming up as children, right? But that's actually incorrect now. Okay. It used to be the case that you were able to save that paper currency. But unfortunately, that is not working today. He says here, the big problem with Rich Dad scam number 5, save money, is that it used to be true. You see, a generation or two ago, saving money paid off. You can set aside a certain amount of money and be able to retire on that, right? Your parents or your grandparents might have done just that, and it worked. But the concern right now is what worked for them cannot work for us today because of the economy. So to really understand this, you really have to understand the history of money, which is why we recommend people to go out and get that book called Fake. Okay, get the book called Fake. He says that this is his latest book, Fake money, fake teachers, fake assets, how lies are making the poor and middle class poorer. Okay, it's a story about a letter that he got from his rich dad when he was on tour of duty in Vietnam. Okay, and he actually wrote this. He wrote this statement to him. President Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. Watch out. The world is about to change. And so, yes, it did. It actually did change. All right. And so here's a couple of things I do want to point out from this particular blog post that I think is very, very important for you to understand. He says in 1971, Richard Nixon took the United States off of the gold standard, the system where every dollar, right? These here, every dollar in the U.S. economy was based on a dollar's worth of gold that the country owned. You see, when Nixon did this, when he removed the relationship between gold and the dollar, what happened was the US dollar became fake money. So now, everybody, this here is actually fake money. And this is because rather than have the dollar tied to gold, it was instead tied to the full faith and credit of pretty much the United States. Essentially, the dollar, this here, right? This right here became an IOU. So in the process, Nixon's actions actually destabilized the economy as a result. It kickstarted inflation and a number of other factors that really affects the power of the dollar. Now you can see the impact here. Take a look at this. You can see the impact on the dollar in this particular chart. Look at what happened. We said in 1971. Okay. If we scroll down here, and you can see that dip. You see, of course, it was kind of flat. There wasn't much change going on. And then it dipped right there. As soon as we got off that gold standard, it took a dive, a nosedive. And look at where that value of the dollar has been. And even more so, declining more. So as of today, right? As of today, that dollar is really only worth about 5 cents. And so this has impacted the euro. It's impacted the yen, right? These are just different currencies, right? But look at gold. Look at what gold has done. Gold has remained relatively stable, all right? And so look at what he continues to say in this particular post. He says, before 1971, money was money, backed by the value of gold. If you save 10% of your income every year, it can turn into enough to retire on. But after 1971, money became currency. So this is not money anymore. This here, right? This is not money anymore. It's currency. Now it can go up and it can go down in value with nothing of value backing it, other than, of course, America's word, right? And that is why there have been so many fluctuations and peaks and valleys, in the economy itself. So understand something. One important point I also want to emphasize is, just as he has here, the rich don't save money. They do not save this. So if you're saving this right now, you're not necessarily doing what the wealthy do. The wealthy they're not saving in this today. Money is something that's supposed to hold its value, right? Which is a different concept from currency, which is a representation of that value. Now, when the U.S. went off the gold standard, the U.S. dollars really stopped being money and it became currency. All right. So this is no longer money. This right here is currency. Money is something that keeps its value. That's the difference. Money is supposed to keep its value. You see, currency fluctuates. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down in value. And the US dollar has kept losing value ever since 1971. So today, even as Robert Kiyosaki says on this post, today, savers, those of you who have this and it's just sitting there, right? In a traditional bank account. If you got this sitting in a traditional bank account, he says savers are losers. And he says, why? The bank pays you a lower interest rate on your savings than the inflation rate. So in essence, this means that your money, currency, right, in the bank loses more value. So just sitting this in the bank is losing more value than it gains over time. It's a losing proposition to really save. You see, the dollar you save today will be worth less a year from now. So when you think, for example, you're going to go and put $100,000 in the bank, right? You're actually going to have less than that a year from then because it's losing value just sitting there simply because of inflation and some other factors. Okay? So Here's what we need to do. You probably think, well, Lakeisha, if we know that this is currency, it's losing value. Here is what Robert Kiyosaki does. Here's what I do. And many other people around the world are starting to become awakened of the importance of saving in assets. You see, Robert Kiyosaki says that we need to, just like he is, save gold and silver instead of this. All right? So save gold. Here is an example of cash gold, right? This is cash gold, everyone. If you look here, that's 24 karat. You might not be able to see it clear. There we go. A little better right there. 24 karat gold, 999.9 pure bullion gold, embedded in the middle of this paper. Now, of course, it's, it's pretty covering, right? This is just the way that it's packaged, but it's still 0.1 grams of gold. That's an example of that. Now, I do have an example of a gram of gold, and here's what an example of a gram of gold looks like, so that you'll be able to see it. Boom, there we go, a little better, right? So that's an example of a gram of gold. He says once money isn't based on something concrete like gold, its days are numbered. And let me tell you, history has proven itself, for every type of currency or paper money that was created, right? It's returned to its intrinsic value of zero, which means that this eventually can return to the value of zero. Right now, it's at about 5 cents. That's pretty close to zero. All right. So you just never know when that time is going to come. So how long are you truly going to be saving in that currency that's decreasing in value? So the longer you keep doing that, you're going to lose. Okay. So what you want to do, as Robert Kiyosaki says here, right? You want to make your money work. Again, make your money work. So if you can't put your money in the bank, what can you do? The answer is to get aggressive. Putting money in the bank is a passive way of doing things. Putting your money out in the world is putting it to work. So why put your money in the bank where it loses value when you can put it to work for you in assets? This here, right? Cash gold, right? I'm trying to avoid that glare. This is an asset. This right here, this gram of gold is an asset. So he's saying clearly, this expert is saying, put your money, right, in a place where it can work for you in assets, where you can turn your money into more money. Or I should say, turn the currency into more of it, right? Because eventually, if you need to, if there's a financial crisis, of course, you'll be able to get cash, or you'll be able to get currency so that you'll be able to take care of you and your family. But what we're emphasizing to you is that you need to be saving in an asset, not allowing those dollars to just sit in a bank. And so what I love about what I was introduced to about 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago, I was introduced to a money system that my husband and we were able to register for free into this money system that enables us to simply do one thing, right? The main thing. We keep the main thing the main thing. And that is we exchange currency that's decreasing in value, and we get assets. So it's an exchange. You're not buying anything. We can't buy this because this is money. You cannot buy money. So listen up. Here's what I want to encourage you to do. Learn. Get plugged into the same system that my husband and I have plugged into. You still can do it today, and you can get back with the person that's sharing this particular video with you. Ask them, hey, are you connected to that money system? That way you'll be able to learn how you can exchange this for this, and you can establish generational wealth for your children. We already know that we don't know the time or the day when we're going to exit this earth. So we want to make sure that we're going to leave a sound financial legacy for our children and our children's children. We also want to make sure we're protecting those dollars that we really work hard for. So get back with the person that shared this particular video with you. And if you're watching this on my timeline or a group or somewhere else, listen, a link may be nearby, or simply request information. It's just that simple. All right. And so, being as though this is a Tuesday, I want to inform you that there is a wealth presentation that's going to be happening. There is a wealth presentation that's going to be going on. And I definitely want to encourage you to plug into this presentation. More often than not, we're going to be doing a watch party. So it's going to be available on Facebook. You'll be able to see that. It's going to be available on Facebook. And so I am going to encourage you, okay? I will encourage you to definitely plug into it. Watch it from the very beginning to the very end. You want to do that because it's going to educate you about money, real money, gold, and how all of this works. So receive some financial education today. I encourage you to do that. So that's going to happen at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So listen up. Until the next time that you and we come back together again, I want to encourage each and every one of you. I encourage you to think, to speak, and to live leadership. Good night, everyone, and God bless.